what the problem was. Well, there we are. Hello. Testing, testing. Does that sound right? Everybody feels good? If not, hello. Shalom. It's 7:02. We're hoping the rabbi isn't watching. So, no, we're starting 2 minutes late. We have a little different setup today. Just thought I would be able to see you all. It would be great. All right, so we are starting a little differently. I want to start today with, on page 140, with Mizmor Shir, as we kind of all, for these beginning prayers, they are in there so that we all sort of get comfortable with the fact that it's Shabbat and that we're in a sanctuary and there's other people around. So we're going to start with Mizmor Shir. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehadot liAdonai, ulizamer lisimcha elyon, ulizamer lisimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir liyom haShabbat, tov lehadot liAdonai, ulizamer lishimcha elyon, ulizamer lishimcha elyon. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי הסבה להנעבר עלי גיון בכינות ליום השבת, טוב להדות ליאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפולך, במעשה ידיך ארנין. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להדות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. That was the, what'd you say? Cha-cha-cha is right. I thought you said turn it down. So that is also all right. We are going to say Shabbat Shalom to one another. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to those who are streaming. Thank you, Heather, for doing the streaming tonight. We are now going to sing a chorus of Shabbat Shalom. Perfect timing. We are going to do a Hine Matov, just to say how good it is, in fact, to be together. And let me take this off. And we will get a key, and then we will sing this song. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Now I'm going going to invite Ira and Vivian Bloomstein to come on up and to help us with the candlesticks and Kiddush. You light first and then you talk. Don't know how that. Oh, here it is. I see. You go like this. Because safety first. There we go. It's like every Friday night in my kitchen. Yeah, I would just use the one.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Vayhi'eret, vayhi'voker, yom ha'shishim.
Well, that mic is very live. Thank you. We're going to go like this.
And there was evening and there was morning the sixth day. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagaf.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Beautifully done. We are now going to turn to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. Pardon? Was that wrong? I'm sorry. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. You know what? I'm singing the song. I have completely different music in front of me. So you'll excuse me, we're going to sing a different one. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, yalala, 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 b'nei Shabbat. נקבלה, די, 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה, די, 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה, די, 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נקלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה, די, 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. And we rise and we face the door as is our custom to welcome the Sabbath bride. בואי ושלום, עטרת בלה, גם פרינה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני המסגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה, די, 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 לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת, נקבלה. I'm going to have you stay standing. We're going to move through these introductory prayers a little swifter than usual. So please stay on your feet for the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shem Yevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Yevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Thank you. You can have a seat, and I am going to invite up Delilah Brum and Laura Liebrum. Liebrum? How do I say that? Shoot. Laura Liebrum. All right, come on up, ladies. They are going to lead us in the V'ahavta, and I'm going to put you up here. I'm actually going to give you a little stool, if that's all right. And hold on, and we'll get that back up where it needs to be. I didn't think out the choreography. All right, and do you have a book? Would you like a book? Yeah. That'd be helpful. All right. Can somebody tell me what page we're on? 154. Perfect. There we are. Yeah. U'kol nafshecha. Ukshartam le'od hayadaha ve'hayu lefot b'ninecha uktatam amezuzot b'nitecha u'visharecha leman titeru v'isitem et kol mitotai v'isem kedoshim lelechem ani Ani Adonai Elohechem. That was great. Hey, will you stay up here, and we're going to do Mi Chamocha next. And so if you can help me with that, that'd be awesome. All right, we are on page 158 for Mi Chamocha. Yai lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai lai la lai la lai 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 la la lai lai la lai la lai la lai la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adona, mi chamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, noratehi lo osefele, noratehi lo dosefele. Malachutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe v'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 la 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 la, yai lai lai la 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 la, yai lai la lai 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 la la lai, lai la lai la la, 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 la. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I have to say, the V'ahavta, where you went off the tune, I taught trope and I taught services for maybe 20 years, and always people want to just jump to that line afterwards. So you are in a long line of every single person I have ever met. So good job on that. We're turning to page 160 for the Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, from sorrow and pain. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. 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 So the next prayer we normally do is Vishamru or Yismachu, and they're usually these peppy, do the Sabbath, yay, we celebrate the Sabbath. But tonight I'm going to do the Debbie Friedman version, which is a little more meditative, because whereas it is a mitzvah to celebrate Shabbat, mitzvah means more than good deed, right? It also means, anybody know? Obligation, right? It's an obligation. It's a command. So when we say we do a good deed, we are doing that. We have an obligation to do good deeds. Actually, we can talk about that. All right. If you know this, I hope you will sing along with me. Vishamru v'nei Yisroel et ha-Shabbat את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה עשה Adonai את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפל ביני ובין בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם, ביני בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. It's a nice meditative tune to get us into the meat of the service, the tefillah. So if you will turn, we will start at page 162, and we go through, I believe, 170. If you will rise. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chazadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevih Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai Magen, Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol atah Rav ve'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem. Mechakel Chayim beChesed, Mechaye HaKol beRachamim Rabim, Somech Nofalim ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך, מלך מימי ומחיה, ומצמיע ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי hakol. Page 170. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Thank you. You can be seated. If you can turn to page 175. Please join me in the middle of the page. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yira na'avod. On page 177, of the second paragraph, please join with me. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lechodot. And on the top of page 179, grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. And now we're going to take a moment. We're going to take a moment to think about those of us and the people we know who are not feeling well, who need help, who are struggling, whether it be with physical health or mental health. We're trying to overcome. Right now, we think about Raymond Douglas Alcorn, Danny Brom, Frank Clement, Evan Bin, Ann Cole, Mark Edelstein, Mickey Edelstein, Benjamin Edelstein, Brian Edelstein, Daniel Heyman Feist, Eric Fisk, George Fisk, Bob Gold, Carolyn Gold, Jennifer Bousset, Corey Katelman, Stuart J., Bonnie Klein, Hank Corin, Wendy Sugarman Krosnoff, Robert Jaffe, Michael Lynch, Stephen Schatz, Lee Siegel, Stacy Siegel, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Kevin Stone, Fred Truex, Pete Tanner, Joshua Weinberg. And now, as I go around, if there's a name that you would like to add. Keeping those names in our heart and thinking about those that we know would like our help but would not like us to say their names aloud. We join with the Misha Berach. Misha Berach Avotenu Makor habracha le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach imotenu Makor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Now, if you'll take a moment to be with your own thoughts and prayers. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, be acceptable in thy sight. O God, my rock and my redeemer, God, my rock and my redeemer. So the rabbi is away, which means I get to move the furniture. And I also get to say a few words. And I always like to talk, usually I like to talk about the Torah portion. I have something very short. This is a jam-packed parshat, as all of them are right now. These are the big plagues, the big last plagues with darkness and death among them. I mean, there are so many plot points that are happening in this parsha that, as you can imagine, there have been a lot of midrashim, or stories, that have been written about them. So, the last plague, does anybody remember? What was the very last plague? Death of the firstborn children of the Egyptians, right? So from Shemot Rabbah, which was written in the 12th century, a midrash about this parsha emerges that some Egyptians, not unsurprisingly with all the plagues, had grown fearful of the Israelite God. And when they heard that God had promised to kill the firstborn of all the Egyptians, they asked their Israelite neighbors to hide their firstborn child in the Israelites' home. And many Israelites agreed to do this. Why? At this point in the Exodus story, the narrative has gotten very, very simple. Israelites good, Egyptians bad. But remember, just a few chapters ago, when Pharaoh declares that all male Israelite babies be killed, we are given a glance at extraordinary civil disobedience, as the Egyptian midwives, two of the very few named women in the Bible, Shiphrah and Puah, not only do not kill the male babies, but straight out lie to Pharaoh, calling the Israelite women animals who give birth quickly and without the midwife's help. They say when they get to the Israelites' home, there's no baby anymore. So, why doesn't Pharaoh, and not to mention everybody else, ask, where did the baby go? So here's Beth's midrash. My story is there is a network of women, unnamed, as most women in the Bible are, and truthfully, as most women throughout history are, and this network of women are taking the Israelite babies and hiding them until they are no longer babies and can go back to living with their families. Why do I think this? The Torah makes this really big deal about Pharaoh's daughter saving Moses. When Jochebed, Moses' mother, sends him out on the water, I don't think she believes that it's going to be Pharaoh's daughter that's going to find him, but I do believe that the occurrence of a baby floating down the Nile is not so rare in those days. The text says that Pharaoh's daughter saw the baby, felt sorry for him, and rescued him. Then she arranged for an Israelite slave to be his wet nurse, who just happened to be his mother. Now, we've all heard of those other midrash about Miriam and doing all of that, but that's not actually what it says. She goes, go get an Israelite. So, to me, Batya, that's the name God gives her, is just the named representative of all the Egyptians who battled against injustice and cruelty. One of the few human interest stories we get about people in Egypt, because her actions turn out to be an important plot point. But her actions, and what I think of as the actions of so many Egyptian women's actions, blurs the line a little about who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. What is black, what is white. And that's true today, right? We find ourselves in the midst of so many conflicts, certainly the war in Gaza, but also the political and psychological and emotional skirmishes that are happening around us here in our country and throughout the world. It's simple to think in black and white. It's easier to look at others as the other or the enemy rather than a brother or a sister. We don't want to hear the human interest and the personal stories. But without that personal component, it's often difficult to show moral courage. We are given the smallest of hints about what is happening in Egypt, mostly because the names of women are mentioned. Names, right. And what is Exodus in Hebrew? Shemot, which means names. Yes, we have the daughter of Pharaoh, and she's renamed by God as Batya for her actions to save Moses, demonstrating again how important names are to the writers of the Torah. But we also have the names of two midwives, not a position that is usually high on the social scale, Shifra and Puah. The Torah shows us Egyptians who are displaying moral courage. So when the Egyptians come to the Israelites on the night of the 10th plague, asking them to hide their children, of course the Israelites would say yes. Here's what Shemot Rabbah says happens next. When midnight arrived, the Holy One, blessed be He, killed all the firstborn. For those who were located in the houses of the Israelites, the Holy One, blessed be He, would step between the Israelite and the Egyptian and would take the soul of the Egyptian and leave the soul of the Israelite. The Jew would awaken and find the Egyptian dead between each and every one of his children. Excuse me. On the surface, it seems that the Israelite actions do nothing to change the outcome of God's final plague. But how could the Israelites stand by and not help? What kind of people would they be? The fact that the Israelites hid their neighbors' children teaches us that we cannot look away at others in distress, even against impossible odds. In every single book of the Torah, we are taught that we are holy when we help others and take care of the stranger and marginalized. Leviticus 19:16 says it flatly. Do not stand idly by when your neighbor's life is threatened. And there is nothing in the Torah, nor any midrash I can find, that talks about any of the Israelites being punished for showing compassion and moral courage. The stories of Batya and Shifra and Puah and the Israelites themselves on the night of that final plague teach us that no matter our station, no matter the odds, we must help, however and whenever and whomever we can. Shabbat Shalom. I'm going to ask Sandy Sumter and Richard Hubbard to come up and open the ark. And then if everyone will join me in the Aleinu on page 586. Would you like a book to? You know it, okay. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Thank you. I'm going to hand the next part of this service over to Sandy, who will lead us in the Kaddish and also do the announcements, yes, for the, perfect.
Is that time in our, where's that? Does anybody? That's okay. Just, just leave it up. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and our words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even to the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, and in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Today, I'd like to share that we have lost several people from in our congregation or relatives thereof. Jeffrey Mears, who's the husband of Tracy Rubin Mears, and the son-in-law of our own Bonnie Rubin Hertzberg, and the father of Liliana. Kathleen Shaw White, who's the sister-in-law of Linda White. And Toby Naster, who was a longtime member of our Temple B'nai Israel, and she recently passed away. And those who passed away in the last year are Dr. Sonia Linke, Barbara Finkel, Elsa Mikosh, Dr. Marty Bilo, Diane D.D. Lynn, Rick Myers, Iris Fisk, Brent Joseph Miller, Dr. Bruce Epstein, Rosalind Beam, Herb Walowick, Ruth Poehler, and Philip Bert Gelman. And those who we are remembering today are Fred Abrams, Pauline Berman, Helen Bruskin, Sheila Buckwalter, Norman Corwin Jr., Solomon L. Diner, Samuel Edelstein, Blanche Fair, Robert Feldman, Leanie Greenbaum, Lillian Greenberg, Simon Haskell, Marilyn Adler James, Michael Joseph Castell, Morris Lipman, Natalie Madow, Julius Malkin, Frank Marcellus, Melvin Myers, Deborah Nader, Maurice Last, Jake M. Poller, Molly Pudeker, Stephanie Rodetsky, Serene Ross, Reva Rubin, Pearl Shifter, Benjamin Seiler, Michael Shepak, Betty Solomon, Joseph Stagg, Alvin Weiss, Leon S. Weiss, and Rose Leah Wolfert. And with anybody else in the room, have anyone else to name at this moment in time? Anybody else celebrating a yahrzeit of somebody that has not been named? And we can all stand and please join me in the Mourner's Kaddish. And we are on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'dechayei dekol beit Yisrael v'agla rizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba memberach le'elam umei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shmei dekusha b'richu le'elam v'kol bichrata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamriman v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chegim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imromav u'ya'asei shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. And may our loved ones whom death has taken from us be their memories be a blessing for a lifetime. Amen. I have to tell you, please sit down. When I look at the list, for those of us who've been around a while, darn, there's a lot of people that we no longer have in our community, but their memories, and I can see some of them in my own mind's eye. It's amazing. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom, everybody here in our sanctuary. Shabbat Shalom to people at home. So a few announcements this week. Of course, Rabbi is still doing his Bible class, so if anybody is interested, you can come and join anytime via Zoom or here in the home. He meets every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And those who've been going to his class have really enjoyed it, and you can come, even though you've not been from the beginning. There's lots of stories to tell, so please don't hesitate to come. Two really big things. First of all, February the 25th, Sunday the 25th, is our Jewish Food Festival. This is one of our big fundraisers of the year. And not only is it a great fundraiser, but gosh, you get all this really great food. So please, it is a one-day event. It is a pre-ordered event where we order food ahead of time. And the deadline to order is going to be on Monday, January the 29th. Then you'll come and you'll pick up your food at the temple on that Sunday, on February the 25th. And we're going to have such things as we have in the past, like the Carnegie Deli, corned beef and pastrami, Junior's cheesecakes, black and white cookies, babkas, knishes, chopped liver, kosher dill pickles, kugels made by the Kugelettes, which I'm part of, and a whole lot of other kinds of things. Please call and do your pre-order. It is one of our main food fundraisers, and it is really a wonderful opportunity to get some food that we don't get every day here, especially living in Florida. The other one is to please come and spend an evening with the Deli Man. Again, this is a speaker in residence that we've invited to come. His name is Ziggy Gruber, and he is the owner of Kenny and Ziggy's New York Delicatessen in Great Houston, Texas. Not New York, Texas. And he's going to be featured in a movie called The Deli Man. This is on Saturday night, February the 3rd. Now, Ziggy is going to be with us on Shabbat on February the 2nd. He is going to... Huh? And Beth and Ziggy?
I know.
Beth and Ziggy. So you get to meet Ziggy. We're going to have a really nice oneg. And then on Saturday night, there'll be a special screening of a movie called The Deli Man, and he has quite a part in it, I guess. And there's going to be a deli dinner. It's going to be pastrami and corned beef, and I understand like whitefish and bagels and lox and those types of goodies. It's $36 a person for the whole evening, really for the weekend when you come to it. And on Sunday, on Sunday the 4th, there will be some events going on for our families. He's going to talk with families about the importance of cooking together and Jewish cooking, and I think anybody's probably welcome to come. It's for religious school. So please consider signing up for all of these events that are really important. Now, the other thing that I guess I never did is to say thank you. Thank you, Beth, for being here tonight. And thank you, Vivian and Ira Blumstein, for starting our services. And Delilah and Lorelei Braun, thank you for being part of our service today. And thank you, Rich, for coming up and opening the Bema with me. My words tonight are from Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory. And it says, civility is more than good manners. It is an affirmation that the problems of some are the problems of all, that a good society presupposes collective responsibility, that there is a moral dimension of being part of this nation, this people, and this place. We speak to one another because we feel bound to one another in a shared enterprise in which we each have a part to play. Shabbat Shalom, and please join us for our oneg in the room next door.
All right, we're going to end our service tonight. I thought there was in the, hold on, I've lost my, oh my gosh, lost my iPad. Heavens, easier to lose my guitar. We are going to end tonight with Olam Chesed Yibaneh, and I thought it was in the prayer book, but I don't see it. But luckily, the Hebrew words are Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Say that. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. That's it. You've learned the song. So perfect. We've done this a few times. I think everybody knows it. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. I will build this world from love. Ya da 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 da. Da, 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 da. And you must build this world from love. Ya da 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 da. And if we build this world from love, ya da 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 da. Da 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 da. Then God will build this world from love. Ya da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya da da da. Ya da da da. Now, if I can ask anyone who is under 18 or feels under 18 to come on up and help me with the motzi? That would be awesome. Thank you. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as this joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Ooh, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom, those of you who are at home as well.